Hi everyone, this is V-Hakim, and today I want to talk about the new recently announced Nintendo Switch OLED. So as we know, Nintendo have announced this recently, and it's a new device from Nintendo from the family model of Switch, right? So before the announcement or before the reveal, a lot of people or fans have made speculation that Nintendo will announce a Switch Pro, referring to a version of Switch with much more powerful CPU, GPU, and higher resolution screen. But the recently announced Switch OLED only brings few upgrades in terms of using OLED technology, a bit of bigger screen size, not resolution, just a screen size, 7-inch, a bit here and there, cosmetic change, LAN port, and a few more. And Nintendo also have confirmed that there's no performance upgrade if you compare with the original Switch. Thus, a lot of people disappointed with this announcement of Switch OLED. So today I want to dive a little bit more deeper on why Nintendo releasing Switch OLED that disappointed many. Okay, first of all, we need to understand that Switch is a device or a console that you can dock and connect to your TV, then you can play like your Xbox and PlayStation. But at the same time, you can undock it and use it portably, like your smartphone or tablet. Besides that, its controller or it is called Joy-Con can be detached and attached and be used separately by different players wirelessly, right? A lot of people disappointed because they assume that Nintendo will give Switch a performance upgrade like a smartphone or like a tablet that get upgrade almost every year or even like almost every quarter. So you have to remember that Switch come out in 2017 and it's already like 4 years since the original come out. So we can't blame them. It's kind of natural for many to make a conclusion that Nintendo will do the same thing to Switch by giving it much more better CPU and GPU. But many have forgot that Nintendo is console manufacturer, not a smartphone manufacturer, right? So for console manufacturer, their priority is not year-to-year incremental performance upgrade, but more into building up the user base and the collection of games in their platform, in this case, Switch platform. If Nintendo gives Switch year-to-year performance increase, games developer will have the tendency to produce a game that require hardware, CPU, GPU that only available on latest Switch or newer Switch, which can cause Switch, the older version of Switch won't be able to enjoy this new game. So for example, if you have a Switch that released in 2018, you might not be able to play the games that being produced by developer that being developed for Switch 2020 because Switch 2080 does not have the same capability as Switch 2020. So there will be a discrepancy, ununiform, and there will be a lot of variation of games in Switch platform, which is the last thing Nintendo want to have, because this will make the user feel it's not worth it to get Switch because 1 or 2 years you're already outdated and you can't play the latest game. And even if the developer want to support everyone, it will require them more work because 2018 has different hardware, 2020 they have a different hardware. That will add more manpower and with more cost to develop one game. So it's not a bad situation for developer as well. But if there's a much more better version out there, developer lean to go there because it will offer them much more better graphic for their games and hopefully to sell more there. But if they want to sell more to in Switch platform, they have to cover everyone. It's going to be a chicken egg problem. So that's why if you see like manufacturer like Xbox, Microsoft, PlayStation, Sony, only come up with new hardware or new version every like 5, 6, 7 or 8 years. Then they come out with a new version, not like every year, because they focus on developing the platform that they develop, so that they can require more user. Once they require more user, they can require more developer to create game for that platform, and the developer doesn't have to upgrade their games because the platform stay the same for period of time like 5, 6, 7 years. So it's much easier to maintain, and it can, with a lot more collection of game, a lot more users to come on board on the Switch platform, and more hardware sell for Nintendo Switch. So if that's the situation, why does Nintendo come out with Switch OLED now? Why not just wait for another 2 or 3 years, and then you can come out with better, like we can call Switch Pro, I guess. Okay, so why is, we have to understand, in 2020, Nintendo see an increase in sales for Switch because of the pandemic, because a lot of people stay at home and they want to spend their spare time. So a lot of them purchase Switch to play games, right? So in this case, how I look at it is that Switch OLED is actually a marketing strategy or marketing tactic for Nintendo to increase the popularity of Switch and also the sale of Switch, hopefully. Thus, we doesn't see a drastic improvement in Switch OLED because its intention to create the buzz around this new hardware that, hey, Nintendo has released a new devices, even though internally there's not much changes. And we also have to remember that even though Nintendo manufacture Switch, they probably doesn't make main profit out of it, because most likely their driving revenue and profit is from selling the software in the Switch platform itself. So the priority to prioritize the stability of Switch platform with not much clutter, with a lot of version, is much higher priority for them rather than giving Switch hardware performance upgrade year to year. In the current situation of chip war, where we doesn't have enough material to manufacture CPU and GPU. So in this situation, it's very, very difficult even for Nintendo to come out with a new device. Even if they want to come out with Switch Pro, it's very difficult and very expensive because the material and manufacturing capacity for CPU and GPU right now is very, very limited. Thus, make it unwise decision for business like Nintendo to release something like Nintendo Switch Pro. Alright, that's it from me. See you in the next episode, maybe, I guess.